Okay, so let's talk about how you prove that your business concept is a winner or maybe find out that it's not a winner. Marketing research. So this lecture is going to talk about primary and secondary research methods. In order to have a good sound research process, you really do need both. What is primary research? What is secondary research? Well, you will find out in the next 8 or so minutes. So enjoy. Okay, today's topic, marketing research. So what is marketing research? Marketing research is really the process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting information about a market, product, and/or service. Marketing research looks at customer characteristics, spending habits, could look at location, target market needs, it could look at the industry, it could look at competitors. Marketing research can look at a variety of variables. So why do we want to do research? Well, we may want to do research to determine if a business concept is viable. We might want to do research to determine whether or not we truly understand who we think our target market is. We do research to reduce business risk, to spot current and upcoming problems in your industry, to assess a current product or service, determine whether or not it could be better and how it could be better, to identify opportunities for growth, new product lines, new demand, etc. We can perform marketing research on markets, we can perform on sales, we can perform research on products, and we can perform research on growth. And these are all research activities that focus on marketing. So, the marketing research process, really this is the research process. You start with a research question, and then you design your study. You collect data, you analyze and interpret that data, and then you report the results. So let's start with the research question. A good research question is highly focused. For example, you might want to know if there's a demand for your mobile detailing business. Well, that's a really broad question. A better question is there a demand in North County for a mobile detailing business that specializes in luxury cars? The more focused you can be with your question, the better the data you're going to gather, and the more understanding you will develop as a result of the study. So your study should be designed to answer your research question. It should be tailored to access the information you need. There's two types of research that you typically want to do. Primary research is research that is done by you, and secondary research is research that is done by others that you are using for your needs. So some examples of primary research methods: a survey. You develop a survey or questionnaire and you give it to 15 people. A focus group is when you take a small group of people and ask them very specific questions related to your research question. A structured observation is when you go out and observe somebody, something, some process, whatever it happens to be. Sampling is when you provide samples of a product or service and then you get feedback on those samples. Ethnographic research is when you are researching from your subject's point of view. So you are trying to blend in with the subject and look at the research and complete the research through their eyes or their specific lens. And then personal interviews is when you go and you interview specific individuals. So some examples of primary research questions might be something along the lines of, what factors do you consider when purchasing this product or service? What do you like or dislike about current products or services currently in the market? What areas would you suggest for improvement? What would you pay for a product or service like this? So some tips about crafting research questions. First of all, you want to make sure that you craft a question that is going to provide you with a workable answer. An answer that's going to give you data that you can act upon. You want to make sure that the question is unbiased. So for example, if you're handing out samples, you don't want as part of your as the question that you're asking the person who's tasting your sample, is this the best donut you've ever tasted? Or please provide us feedback about this amazing donut. You are creating bias in the response by telling somebody that they should really like your donut. The question should be simple in nature. You want to make sure that you provide the ability for information gathering. So if it's possible for you to give options, you might want to think about giving options, this or that. How could this be better? Can you think of something that would make this product more efficient? But you have to be careful in creating those options that, again, you're not embedding bias into the response. In terms of the type of questions you can ask yes/no questions. You can ask a multiple choice question and provide for multiple answers. Please check all of the above. You can do multiple choice and provide for a single answer, fill in the blank questions, and you can just give people an open-ended space and allow them to provide you any information that they would like to include. Some examples of secondary research. Secondary research would include things like journals, trade publications, newspapers, websites, blogs, non-government organizations, NGOs, professional organizations, the United States government, the Census Bureau, things like that. Anytime you Google, you're probably going to wind up with some kind of secondary research. When it comes to analyzing the data, there's really two types of data. There's quantitative, which is numbers, and there's qualitative, which is descriptors, words. And in order to make meaning of the data, you want to identify, you want to use statistics and maybe look at quantitative information, demographics. You want to look for trends. You typically look for trends both in quantitative data, and you can look for trends in qualitative data, looking for keywords, key themes, and you want to look for commonalities in data. Some common mistakes when you are performing marketing research. Using only secondary research, so doing a lot of Googling and not actually going out and asking people yourself what they think. It's really easy to develop a simple survey or a simple questionnaire or to provide samples, and that information most generally can be the richest information in terms of feedback for you. Using only web resources, surveying only the people you know, not crafting research questions correctly, either being too broad or not broad enough sometimes, or again, infusing bias into the research question. So that's marketing research. Remember that it's important that secondary and primary is key. You always need to do both, and you really need to develop that research question that is going to provide you with actionable information that you can hopefully take to the bank.